Cradle to grave care. It's what the National Health Service was set up to do, and it's what doctors and nurses strive to achieve. But shocking new figures given to this programme reveal that the NHS is fundamentally failing. They suggest that death rates in hospitals in England have been far higher than in other countries. And it's not just in the scandal-hit trusts you read about in the newspapers, but we're talking here about the average NHS hospital. In the first of our series analysing the state of the NHS, our health and social care correspondent has this exclusive report.
It's unbelievable. And this is, I mean, of course I'd abolish the NHS. The NHS is killing you. If you have cancer, if you're healthy, by the way, if you're young and healthy, the NHS is wonderful. Because you don't need it. You have a little bit of sniffles, you go into the doctor, they give you aspirin and they don't charge you and you think that's wonderful. But if you have cancer, if you have heart disease, you do not want to be in the UK.
Where it has been assessed that the Liverpool care pathway did actually lead to the death of somebody who otherwise would have survived.
Yes, and I think his withdrawal of treatment.
What would you tell somebody who might have concerns of what they should look out for if they've got a relative in hospital?
The new guidelines are deeply worrying.
Cradle to grave care, free at the point of need. But what we also know from report after report, inquiry after inquiry, is that there are problems at the heart of England's health service. What we didn't know until now is just how badly we do compared with other countries when it comes to our hospital death rates.
Right? You're going to wait in long lines for your CAT scan. You're going to wait in long lines for your surgery. The best doctors who are not making any money here are going to go overseas, they're going to go into the private sector.
Emma Stones was admitted to Tameside Hospital with suspected flu, but doctors didn't do a blood test, so no one spotted she had blood poisoning. And when she was dying in the night, no one spotted that either.
What you're telling us is that you are more likely to die if you are treated in an English hospital.
We still have too many patients dying in our hospitals when their relatives were expecting them to come home.
I mean, for you, the NHS is like religion. But if I say anything about the NHS, oh my God.
Here, up to 13,000 people could have died needlessly in England's NHS hospitals in the last 7 years.
His report is expected to say there have been excess deaths in these 14 trusts. Whether through poor care or mistakes, hundreds of patients have died needlessly in these hospitals where there were 1,600 more deaths.
Jane Boberek, whose father would have survived and returned home had he not been placed on the Liverpool care pathway, joins us now. Thank you very much for coming in. You've had a long battle, haven't you, to prove what happened. Take us back then to the moment that your father went into hospital.
Education and healthcare are some of the most important values we have in the world. The last people you want running it is the government. They have no incentive to make it work well. You don't have a customer relationship. There's no competition. There's no innovation.
From the evidence we have that there is a higher adjusted death rate in the elderly in England particularly.
Well, that's shocking.
It is shocking.
The figures compiled by the eminent doctor and statistician Professor Sir Brian Jarman suggest patients are 45% more likely to die in hospital here. They suggest that you're 5 times as likely to die of pneumonia on an English ward.
For the first time, we have seen exclusive data where our hospital death rates were so high, we were the worst when compared with 6 other developed countries.
I worked for the NHS. I thought he's in the best place. These are people. This is where he should be. He needs the help, he needs the care. Whilst he was in the care, my grandfather had fall after fall after fall. With each fall, it had an impact on his health.
Professor Jarman was, quite frankly, shocked. His data was telling him that NHS patients were around 60% more likely to die in hospital compared with patients in America. For years he looked for a flaw in his methodology, but he says he hasn't found one. So now he's prepared to release the data, and it is indeed shocking.
Because you didn't do it right.
It says here, the National Health Service doctors are prematurely ending the lives of thousands of elderly hospital patients because they're difficult to manage or to free up beds, a senior consultant claimed yesterday. That's what they do, they drug them, and then they turn them their food away and have them dead in 33 hours. That's good business, so they are efficient, when they want to be. Back with more after this break.